let me take a time out to say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Let's say good morning to those of you also viewing GBN TV. And good morning to you for our viewers and listeners via social media platform, Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning and welcome. Got a packed studio this morning. And of course, going to let everyone introduce themselves individually. For some reason, I didn't grab names this morning. But of course, I know Mr. Bernard. So it's okay for his side. The ladies, I'll let you introduce yourself. And starting from my immediate right, let me say good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning to you. Thank you for the warm welcome and good morning to Grenada.
All right.
Yes, so I am Kemoy Edwards, the Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada National Training Agency.
All right. So, Bernard, I guess you could go also. I guess it'd be okay for you to introduce yourself also.
Thank you very much, GT, and good morning to you and good morning to all your followers. My name is Jude Bernard, and I'm the chairperson of the Grenada Coalition of Services Industries.
All right.
Right, so my name is Rosemary Charles. Most people know me as a wellness expert regionally and internationally, as well as a strategic business consultant.
All right. Well, now that we have gotten that bit of formalities out of the way, let's get straight into the conversation this morning. Now, the Grenada Coalition of Services Industries. Oh yes, I also, we do have someone. I did mention we had a pack house this morning, but somehow I've thrown Chad in the bush for some reason. Let me say good morning to Chad. I'm just going to call you by a first name basis. Let me say good morning to you, sir. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Chad, I only saw your name as Chad, so tell us something about Chad.
Right, so I'm Chad Fraser. I'm the CEO and founder of Sonover. We're a technology company. We specialize in building custom software, operation support software. And I guess we get to learn more about what we do.
I guess that's it in a nutshell for Chad. All right, again, let's get the conversation rolling off this morning. Let's tell us a wee bit. I'm not sure who's going to grab this first segment, but we're going to talk about specific. Tell us something about the Grenada Coalition of Services Industries. Tell us a wee bit about that. I guess the mic could stay. We will grab on to you. Doesn't matter. Just say what you got to say, sir.
Wonderful.
So we'll keep moving.
Right. First of all, I think it's fitting for me to start the ball rolling because I represent the coalition. It's not a new organization. The coalition was established about 23 years ago, 2002. It was established by a decision made at the COTED, that's the CARICOM, the Council of Ministers of Trade and Economic Development. And the coalitions were established because at that point in time, there was a transition from the preferential treatment we received on the world market for our goods, our commodities, coconut milk, bananas that we sold in the European market especially. And with the coming of the World Trade Organization, free trade was the order of the day.
Okay. And
no preferential treatment was allowed. The British and so they defended us stoutly for a number of times. They dragged in and out of courthouses and eventually they lost to Chiquita and the others because it was felt that unless you have free trade, then you don't have fair trade in a sense, because when you give preferential treatment to one group, it means that the others are competing unfairly because you protect some and the others have to compete. Secondly, when you don't have competition, it means that your consumers in those markets are treated unfairly. Because if you tell me that as a consumer I have to pay 20 pounds for a pound of banana from the Caribbean, and I could get the same pound of bananas on the Chiquita brand for 2 pounds. But it doesn't really make sense. So it was felt that we don't have competitive advantage in the exporting of commodities or goods. So without that protection, we could never survive. And the decision was taken by the European Union and the other former colonial masters that they will support us moving forward in areas where we have competitive advantage.
All right.
And it was felt that it was in services because we were well known as having a competitive advantage in hospitality and tourism services. We are well known as tourism destinations. Our artists, our musicians, Bob Marley and the like, they were well known as exotic performers and creative people. So we said, okay, the services, communication services, and many other services. In Grenada, we had, for instance, for a long time, the SGU, so we had educational services. So the decision was taken that we are now going to shift from supporting you through protection by helping you to develop your creative or your service industries. And then you'll be focusing now on exporting your services and no longer commodities.
All right.
So the CARICOM decided that they would have, in every island or every member state, they'll set up a body, an umbrella body to help and nurture the creative or the service sectors so that they can export their services to the global market. And that's why there is a coalition of service industries in every CARICOM member state.
Tell us a wee bit about some of the strides and the impact the coalition has made thus far over the years.
Right. Now, different coalitions got different support. Some of them were stillborn. Grenada was almost stillborn because from our birth in 2002, we got almost no help. Some countries gave massive support, St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad, and the coalitions got off to a flying start. Some of them got millions of dollars to start. We started up as just having meetings, no secretariat, just meetings for probably about 10 years. And it was in 2011 that we finally were able to launch the coalition, 10 years after most other folks, with a budget of, I think, $20,000 to run a secretariat for a year, hire people, rent space, get equipment, which didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that year, I think we got a budget for about $40,000 or $50,000. So we started in July, and we launched the coalition in 2011. And we had a secretariat. We did a lot of work, and we were able. First of all, the coalition is actually an association of associations. So first of all, we had to bring our service producers and providers together into associations, because when you have them in associations, you can better service them in terms of training, in terms of development of skills, in terms of helping them to find new market as groups, and to work and collaborate together. And then we were able to form over 10 associations. We did things such as we had a first ever that we ever heard about Services Expo. We had two in 2018 and 2019, where we were able to bring all the local service producers together in an exposition. So we can expose them to the local business people. We can expose service producers to other service producers so they can exchange. We can introduce them to students and policymakers so they can see what is happening and what can move forward. So we had the expo. We also had training for a number of our service people. We had I was just listening to Vaughn and Akeem and Miss Coco and a number of them. We arranged training for them to go into Barbados to be exposed. That's before we had the creative office established. We also had things like, we had, for instance, a major program, an internationally accredited program called Services Go Global.
Yeah.
It's a roadmap for helping producers of services to identify whether they have a service that has potential for export, helping them to develop that service, develop the market, getting an online presence, also to how to interact internationally, get contracts signed, make sure you get paid when you do things for people overseas, because services are not tangible things. They basically, as one guy said, service is any economic activity that results in a financial exchange, but it cannot fall on your toe. If you can move it here and put it there, it's not a service. It's totally intangible.
Right.
So then you have to make sure that when you sell your service, whether it's online or whatever method you use, that you get paid. So the whole thing about Services Go Global is enabling us to help our service producers to reach international markets, have the right information for getting contracts done, getting paid. We also had in 2 years, 18 and 19, what we call the career day, whereby you know about the career days in schools. Every year they bring the policeman and the nurse and so into the school.
To see what you want to become.
Right.
Right.
But what we did, we took it one step further, and where we had the experts either in a central place or from their own places. And through Zoom, we were able to have them interact with the students where they were in the schools. So from Carriacou and right around the island, the students were able to go into the computer lab or wherever they were, and they could interact, ask questions, and get information from the experts in the field, like Chad and the architects and the engineers and other things like that. So we were able to help to sensitize the young people. So there are a lot we had done, but after the pandemic, we went into abeyance for a while, but it is so important for you to be allowed to die. So we have embarked on GCSI 2.0. We want to revamp it and take it to a new level, and that's why we have some of our stakeholders here with us today.
Let's go to Roseanne. I hope you don't mind me calling you on a first name basis. Rosemary. Let me get that right. Tell us how has this been part of the coalition? Have gotten your business that you mentioned, the business that you're a part of and so forth. How has the coalition, of course, helped you embark on your business thus far?
Right. Well, I've been a part of the coalition from its onset, and I wouldn't say from its onset. I would say from the second beginning, where he said he started in 2011, and we had a lot of meetings. I was actually, before that, I was involved in the Caribbean Spa Association as a director responsible for regional training. So I worked throughout the region, sort of developing the industry in terms of massage therapy and spa therapy as a whole, the spa industry. And we didn't really have a structure in place in Grenada. So I mainly worked in the other islands with St. Lucia, who had their coalition strong, up and running. St. Lucia, Jamaica, and those places who basically was setting up the certifying of people in the massage and beauty industry. So I was traveling frequently and working with these places, so I was able to bring that sort of expertise to the coalition of services when Mr. Bernard here started it back, and I was able to work with the Ministry of Trade also to help to initiate training for certification for massage therapists, because at the time there were probably just about 2 or 3 people in Grenada that were certified. So I brought that idea, and we started to certify people. People were certified, and then through that, I think now they're trying to certify people in the beauty industry and other areas, but we now have probably about 100 certified or more massage therapy through that program which I initiated.
So has it been bringing a lot of benefit to folks, especially you said bringing that your experience and able to get others certified in the program, being part of the program? What has those benefits has it been? Right.
So if we have to be a competitor internationally in business and wellness, specifically in this area, you have to have people that are able to meet international guidelines, right? Okay. So if you have to get insurance and so internationally for your services, protection, and get jobs internationally or provide jobs to international people who are coming in the tourism industry, we need to have something to present, or people need to be certified, right? So now we have so much massage therapists who are certified, and massage therapy is mainly the core part of the wellness industry, because people are coming no longer just for the sea and the sun, right? They also want to be pampered during that time, and if people are not certified like they were before, then there's a lot of risk of one, there's a risk of people being injured, and 2, there's also the lack of confidence on the part of the people who are going to benefit from the services.
How has the coalition really came into play into this whole thing?
Well, the coalition sort of motivated us initially. As Mr. Bernard said, the coalition was not funded at that time, so there was limited resources to make that happen. Right. But I think the motivation and the inspiration came from them, and we were able to get the funding through the Commonwealth at that time to start the certification of the massage people.
And I'm assuming now that's where you have the introduction of folks who are qualified in certain areas. You will bring them on board and so forth and offer those training exercises to individuals, something of that nature.
Well, they were not certified at all. They were actually, most people had started to do services in the hotel industry, and they were basically taught to practice the protocols of that hotel. And the program actually, working along with the NTA at that time, I had approached the NTA and get the funding from the Commonwealth through the Commonwealth Export Strategy and the Ministry of Trade here in Grenada. And we were able to initially I think about 25 people certified, and then another 25 or so, and so on.
All right. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we're going to have a chat with Chad and of course Dr. Kemoy.
Yes.
Forgive me, I'm bad with names.
That's fine.
Bad with names. Folks, we're going to take that break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back.
Choice Promotions in association with Investment Migration Agency of Grenada, together with our Riser Credit Union, presents the inaugural Virgin Parish Relay Meet. This is the Real Mini Olympics, Saturday, March 8th. Las Sages Playing Field in St. David. Relay action featuring the top clubs and schools from across Grenada, competing for cash prizes and more. Come see the nation's best athletes as they prepare for Intercall and Carifta Games 2025. First call to action is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, featuring live entertainment and excitement in the tug-of-war competition. Admission $10 adults, $5 children. Come to Virgin Parish, St. David on Saturday, March 8th for the Virgin Parish Relay Meet. Come share in the excitement and speed and see you there.
Grenada National Folk Group, in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture, proudly presents Iconic Moves and Melodies.
Yes, man! Iconic Moves and Melodies!
A heartfelt tribute to the legendary Miss Shirley Robinson. Mark your calendar. Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at the Grenada Trade Center, starting at 5 p.m. Immerse yourself in an evening of vibrant folk songs, classical songs, Negro spirituals, patriotic songs, captivating poetry, and mesmerizing dance performances as we honor Miss Shirley Robinson, a true pioneer of Grenada's cultural heritage. You'll also get the chance to have a meet and greet with Miss Shirley Robinson. Tickets are just $50 for adults and $25 for children. Iconic Moves and Melodies, a celebration you don't want to miss. Join us Saturday, March 1st at the Grenada Trade Center. Let's honor the legacy, celebrate the culture, and make it a night to remember.
Attention Grenadians, get ready for an exciting weekend of empowerment and inspiration under the theme Accelerating a Transformed NDC. Delegates, party members, and special invitees will partake in the NDC Convention 2025, Sunday, March 2nd at the Happy Hill Secondary School. After the convention, everyone is invited to our sensational rally at the Bushes U playing field starting at 4 p.m. Be inspired by our distinguished guests. Hear from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of St. Lucia, and our very own political leader and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, and more. Organize your transportation and walk with your flags, bandanas, drums, shells, whistles, and head down to Bushes U to be part of the transformation.
Cause I believe in the truth, and I just wanna live good.
Welcome back once again to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Welcome back to my panelists once again. We're going to go to this segment. I'm going to go to Chad. That's Mr. Chad Fraser with us this morning. Chad, welcome back on the program this morning. How are you doing once again?
I'm doing great.
All right. Tell me, you about your particular business that you're a part of, and tell me how you were able to associate with the Grenada Coalition of Service Industries, and how has it benefited your business thus far?
Yeah, well, our first encounter, I think, back, I can't remember the year, I'm not as good as Jude and the team remember the years, but we benefited from the Services Go Global program, and that was quite an experience in preparing us for exporting our services. Since then, we've expanded our service offering internationally, and now we provide software solutions across the region and internationally as well. We also worked with the coalition back in the day on establishing an association. I think we were one of we in progress of being established, but we wanted to form an association to bring the technology service providers into one group where we could really, lobby and have some representation for the sector, because I believe strongly that we have great export potential. That sector is one of those sectors where you can scale, you can provide thousands of jobs with very limited land space, which is is one of the areas that we're lacking in. So far it has been a really good experience, and I'm excited that we've now rekindled the flame and the engagements with coalition, and hopefully we're able to grow over the next couple of years, offering more services and finally getting that association together so we could really have representation in the technology sector.
Now that you have the revamp coming back, or say the 2.0 of it, what different would you like to see the coalition do now than it had did before?
Well, I think a big part of growing as a service provider is networking, is collaborating, and I believe that. I think I'm not sure if it's public information, but I know there is an upcoming networking event next week, and I see it's a great start. But I would like to see more of that happening. I would like to see, of course, continued support. I think I could speak specifically to my sector. Looking deeper into how we could support export of services. I mean, yes, tourism and so is a form of exporting services, but I think we could look at other forms of export, direct export into other markets. I think there is significant potential, especially with technology and so available now. You can deliver services to anywhere in the world digitally. So I would like to see an increased focus on direct export of services. I think there is huge potential there.
All right. Now, you claim and you spoke about a lot of the benefit that derive to you from being part of the association. Now, there are other businesses in Grenada that are part of that particular, who into the same business, I would say, as you were into. How would you like to encourage them to come be part of of course, the coalition and help to improve their business a whole lot? And as you mentioned a lot, the exporting of the services that you offer is critical, because sometimes the market for Grenada is sometimes very limited in terms of what you can get done. How would you like to encourage others to be part of the association to get that bigger, or more involved with the association?
Well, say you could go far on your own, but you can go much further as a group. We can go much further as a group. I think it's very important that we put our minds together. I think there's a lot to be done from a policy standpoint, and I think really having voices come together, I think have more impact in terms of conveying a message. But the benefits, I think the training and so that coalition offers with the services go global. I'm not too sure if it's something that would be rekindled, but that too is also very important in preparing you for export. I mean, we have to admit, Grenada is only 110,000 people. And we receive probably a couple thousand more people annually, maybe a couple tens of thousands of people globally. But in the global context, it's quite small. It's a relatively small market. So to realize, to maximize the potential of a business is important that we look at our other markets, and to get into those could be very challenging. There's a lot you have to learn, and coming into the coalition would help prepare you to take advantage of what's out there.
All right. Let me also ask you this finally, and I should probably gotten that in the first question that I asked. Before the association, your business, how was it for you? And then coming into the association, how has the transformation been for you?
Well, before, I got into business quite young. I'm a technologist. I build software, and I had to learn a lot. There's a lot to be learned. I certainly didn't know much about export and tapping into those markets. How do you prepare for it? So that was one of the biggest benefits of being a part of the programs of the coalition, is really learning. I'm a learner. I think outside of being a software engineer, I would say I'm a professional learner. So, I think learning is one of the biggest. Learning from the programs, also learning from other service providers, through networking and so forth. That really was instrumental for our growth.
All right. I keep saying this is my final question, but listening to you, I always feel like a question, because it's always an interest of mine also in terms of technology, something I have a great interest in also. Tell me, your company, Sonover Incorporated, tell us a wee bit what you really do. And probably there's someone who is listening to us right now and probably never knew that a service of your nature is existing here in Grenada. There's always something somebody here for the first time. Tell us a wee bit about your company and what it really does.
Okay, so we build technology solutions, and I repeat, we build technology solutions. We're
talking from the ground up.
From the ground up. So you run your organization, you have your operations, and there are things that are happening there. There's data to be managed, there are tasks to be automated, and now with the advent of AI, there's a lot of automation that can happen. And our company, what we do, we listen to. We of course understand your operation, and we build a solution that could really help to optimize the way you work, to allow you to deliver higher quality services to your clients, and really to create a pleasant working experience for your staff. Sometimes we take it for granted. I think with good systems, you have happier people. So technology delivery and innovation is huge for us. We also have a small hardware department. We build sensors, microcontrollers. For the last 2 years, we've been mostly doing research and development. And one of the projects that we're preparing to launch is a pretty lasting solution that's very AI-based and really intelligent to really help bring some innovation into the agricultural sector. But really, technology is what we do, and we've worked with many clients in the region, or many programs that the government runs on our platform. Our CBI program, for example, runs on our platform. Many private sector companies runs on our platform, and we continue to work with organizations to deliver solutions that would really transform the way they work.
All right, great. And we certainly be coming back to you shortly, Chad, because there's always your business organization is something that grabs my interest a whole lot. Let's go over, of course, to Dr. Kemoy once again, and let's hear about your particular organization. Tell us how being part of the, of course, Grenada Coalition of Service Industry has helped your business to flourish in any way at all.
Okay, good morning again, everyone. So the Grenada National Training Agency is the premier training agency in Grenada, focusing on technical and vocational education and training. So we have oversight for all TVET education and training. The GNTA, so I can just shorten it, the GNTA is also part of a wider network or wider networks. So we are part of the UNESCO Univoc Network Center, and we are one of 2 UNESCO Univoc centers in Grenada. We're also part of World Skills Americas, and World Skills Americas is a consortium of countries coming together to promote skills training. We are also part of the wider network CANTA, so that's the Caribbean Association of National Training Authorities, and this is a network that has been established by CARICOM through COSOD for promoting TVET education within the Caribbean. When we speak TVET education, we want listeners to know it's not just the skills that you can see, right? So going back to what Mr. Bernard said about a product that can move from one place to the next, when some persons or some people think of skills, they're thinking immediately of carpentry, construction, electrical, but it's wider than this. And in terms of our stake in the GCSI, so I have been approached recently by Mr. Bernard for the NTA to become part of the GCSI and recognizing the important part that training and development plays in skills, because we have to be a crucial part of the skills ecosystem of Grenada. From all of the areas, we play a key part. So when we speak skills, we are talking about agriculture, we are talking about business. So people may not ordinarily associate business with skills, but business, when we break it down, we are looking at human resource management, payroll administration, accounting. These are also skills. Then we move into the construction industry, we move into the cultural and creative industries. And here we are talking about not just those who are the writers and the photographers, but also those who are managing the sound system. We speak of cosmetology and beauty and wellness, geriatric care, policing services, education as well. So when we speak the conversation of TVET and skills, we want to get past that image of TVET as being predominantly those persons or those people, who are using tools to get work done, but it's also part of that knowledge economy. In other words, using your what you have acquired in terms of your reasoning and analysis to make decisions, and these are also skills, also part of the critical thinking skills.
Okay, great. So now the Grenada Trading Agency, will come in together with the coalition, and I'm assuming businesses that need that additional help in terms of development of their skills and services that they want to have, that's where you folks will fit in there.
Yes. So we focus on upskilling of the workforce, and it can be done in different ways. So we have what is known as the enterprise-based training program. And with enterprise-based training, it means that an organization may approach the NTA for the development of a particular training scheme, right? So whether it's in the area of beauty and wellness or in photovoltaic installation systems. So there is that conversation that is started. We go through the necessary protocols, whether it's through assessment of prior learning, because we recognize that if employees have been within an organization for quite a while, they have acquired skills, and this amounts to something. So we do what is known as an assessment of prior learning to determine what level they're at, and based on the results of that assessment, we will fill the gaps with appropriate units belonging to particular standards. So we can do it through enterprise-based training. We can also do that upskilling through community-based organizations. So there may be members of the community that may not necessarily be employed in particular organizations, or they're part of diverse organizations. And we collaborate with NGOs to upskill those members as well.
All right, great. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We coming right back after the break. Don't touch it out.
Kayak Mass 2020.
Attention all track and field fans, the race is on and history is being made. On Saturday, March 1st, the Kirani James Athletic Stadium comes alive yet again for the Charlie George Classic. We honor a true stalwart of Grenadian athletics, Mr. Charles A.R. George, the longest serving president of the Grenada Athletics Association. Watch the best of the best go head-to-head in sprints, distance races, field events, and thrilling relays with top clubs like 473 MVP, Ace, Fusion Athletics, Velocity County Track Club, St. David's Track Blazers, and more. The excitement kicks off at 10 a.m., so be there early. Witness the speed, the strength, and the passion of Grenada's finest athletes. This is more than a meet. It's a legacy in motion. The Charlie George Classic, Saturday, March 1st. Be there.
Grenada is indeed beautiful and worth exploring. We firmly believe that you should be allowed to do so. Why not explore Grenada with James Services Corp Off-Road Tours? Whether you decide to explore Grenada with your family, spouse, or large group of friends, we are ready to welcome you. Our tours are guaranteed to leave you with wonderful memories of Grenada if you are visiting and excitement if you live here. Book a tour with us now by visiting our website www.jamessvcs.com. Call 1473-442-3769 or email info@jamessvcs.com. James Services Corp Off-Road Tours.
I am Dennis James Williams, owner and director of James Services Corp. Looking forward to welcoming you to the beautiful island of Grenada to explore with James Services Corp Off-Road Tours. See you soon.
Explore our beautiful island of Grenada from an angle that is unique and off-road, but equally fun. We are 100% family-friendly tours.
Attention Grenadians, get ready for an exciting weekend of empowerment and inspiration under the theme Accelerating a Transformed NDC. Delegates, party members, and special invitees will partake in the NDC Convention 2025, Sunday, March 2nd at the Happy Hill Secondary School. After the convention, everyone is invited to our sensational rally at the Bushes U playing field starting at 4 p.m. Be inspired by our distinguished guests. Hear from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of St. Lucia, and our very own political leader and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, and more. Organize your transportation and walk with your flags, bandanas, drums, shells, whistles, and head down to Bushes U to be part of the transformation.
Cause I believe in the truth, and I just wanna live good.
Welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers to the point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. With me this morning, I have, of course, my panelists here involves members of the should I say all members, or is it the Grenada Coalition of Industrial Service, but folks who incorporate and stakeholders within the also. Let's go back to Mr. Of course, Bernard with me this morning. Let's focus a wee bit on the specialities of the Grenada Coalition of Service Industries. Tell us a wee bit of the specialities.
Well, first of all, the mandate of the coalition basically is to, from what I said earlier on, why we are here. Mm-hmm. Why do we have a coalition in Grenada and other islands? The mandate is to identify, nurture, and support micro and small and medium service providers and enable them to be export ready. Because unlike some organizations, there are other business organizations that support businesses, but they're mainly representing like importers and the manufacturers, agents. Our sole mandate is export readiness, because we are formed so that services can replace the export of commodities. And so it means that we cover a wide spectrum of services, from the soft touch ones that Rosemary is speaking about, the massage therapists and the beauty, right on to the hard hat ones as the architects and engineers, and everything in between. Creative services, the legal services, medical services, educational services, the whole spectrum. So anyone who produces a service that has potential for export, they are part of our purview. They are part of our stakeholders.
If I could tap in on you here and ask a question, I just come to me. I'm assuming there's always challenges in this. How challenging has it been for the coalition to get services to be involved? How was that challenge?
Well, first of all, many of our service producers are micro. In many cases, a one-person operation. And getting these people to take time off making the money and to sit down in a training session or attend a meeting is sometimes very difficult. So organizing, there are times when you form an association and it lasts for a couple of months and then people stop attending meetings. So it is very, very difficult.
You see that they're not seen sometimes, yes, they are benefit, but sometimes they think, well, it's not benefiting enough for me to take a day off. Someone may see it in that particular light.
Yeah, but sometimes we have to make investments. I won't even say sacrifices, investment into our own development, into our business.
So true.
And as Chad said, the Services Global program, it opened his eyes to the potential of exporting his services, and some of the things you need to do, the nitty-gritty of being ready to export your service in the global market, where the world is your market. Services, we don't need cookers bags, we don't need crates. You can send a website to somebody in Australia, you can develop a marketing plan, you can do consulting, you can provide legal services for someone in Timbuktu. So the services, the mode of exporting a service, right? It's so flexible. There are four main modes which I won't go into, but you can provide the service directly to someone overseas, as Chad is saying. Someone can come and utilize that service. For instance, when the tourists come, when the tourists go to an event, whether it's crab racing or they pay for a concert, a service is exported once the person who pays for the service does not belong to the same country as the person who provides the service and gets paid for it. It doesn't matter where the payment takes place, in your country, the other country, on the internet. But once the two persons are from different geographic spaces, so the tourists, every dollar spent by a tourist is basically an export dollar.
All right.
Export. If only we were paying for those in US dollars, then we'll be able to measure them a lot easier. So whenever they come and they partake of something, we have had an export transaction. So if an architect draws a plan for a company overseas and a consultant, there may be a large firm that wants to go into financial services in Grenada. They want to do a feasibility study, and they contract a consultant. That's an export of a service to that foreign company.
All right.
So we have consultants, we have so many different categories of producers of services, and sometimes we don't really see it as that. Even in agriculture, sometimes we confuse agriculture with farming. It's more than farming. Globally, only 40% of the output of agriculture has to do with farming. The other 60% has to do with marketing, promotion, transportation, packaging, and all the other things. These are all services. So agriculture also needs services. Construction needs services. So it's very broad, it's very wide. And our economy, if you look at our economy, what do we really export? Almost nothing. Apart from our services.
Right.
So
let me tap in another question on you here as it comes to mind. Technology has been part of it, especially in coming to the training agency, of course, being part of this coalition also. How does technology, of course, play a major role in this also? Especially you speak a whole lot about the exporting of it. How technology plays a role in this?
Well, this is what makes it all possible. Because it's so easy to sell services overseas digitally, and that's why we want to encourage the students, the policymakers, to see the potential that technology affords us for employment, as well as for developing businesses using technology. Chad spoke about websites. He spoke about developing solutions for foreign companies. There's a lot we can do here. Robotics, whatever it is. Once we can open our minds and we can learn, we can.
Online training.
We can train, even training. Online training.
Yes.
There is when we launched our first expo in 2018, there was a local company called E-Learning Kings, and this guy, young guys, and they were actually developing training programs, not only for locals, but also for overseas. You can sign on to the programs and you can do an online course with them. They can get paid and they can transfer.
And we can offer that to the world as well.
All right.
Absolutely.
No, this is the second revamping of this particular industry. Tell us the impact you would like to make in this second round of going through the process again.
Well, we definitely want to build on what we started before. I told you the things we did.
Yes.
Like the Services Go Global. We spoke of the career guidance for the young people. We spoke about the forming of the associations and so many of the other things we did. We want to be able to focus this time a lot on networking, bringing people together, and so that folks can see the benefits, as Chad also alluded to. We are greater. The two of us are greater than our individual value. And we had a major challenge before of getting people to stop competing and to start collaborating. We see it happening in music now, which is very good. But we need it in many other fields, because in many cases we are too small. Even the area of consulting. Sometimes the insurances that we have to, even in architecture and construction, there's a major project, but some of the requirements, they're just going to be met by a local firm.
Individual.
Right? An individual local firm. But if we can collaborate more, we can form consortia, then we can reach a lot further than we can individually. So networking will be key, but the forming of associations will also be key, and exposing yourself to training, setting standards. Sometimes it's even better to even self-regulate, because when you are organized as an association, you can set your own standards. You can help to regulate, and if people will comply to those standards, then you can deliver a service which you can trust. But when people are operating in the shadows individually, quality suffers, as Rosemary alluded to earlier on, and there is a risk. There is not trust. But once we can operate together, we can set standards, we can go very far.
And the exposure expands a whole lot. I'm assuming that there will be some major activity coming up in that, of course, that will boost the recognition of the industry more. Tell us a wee bit.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, networking. We have an event planned for next Monday, God willing, on the 3rd. It's we call Meet and Mingle. We want to encourage service producers in Grenada to come to the yacht club at 5 o'clock on Monday evening. The first drink is on us. The first drink is on us, and then afterwards you're free to stay as long as you can, buy your drinks, meet, mingle, exchange business cards, and do those things. And the whole aim of that is to bring us together. Our ultimate short-term goal is to have a newly instituted board of directors for the coalition moving forward. I've been involved in this thing for the last 23 years. Right? We have to pass on the baton, but we have to develop momentum. So what we want to do is, following up from that meet and greet we have at the Grenada Yacht Club on Monday evening, God willing, we want to have a number of meetings. Some of them will be virtual, some of them will be in person, some of them will be hybrid meetings. But the whole aim will be to bring our service producers together. Help them, for instance, when we come to have the AGM, which is now scheduled for the 27th of March, the beauty people can come together. and say, okay, we want to nominate this member to represent us on the board. But if we're all there as individuals, I mean, it will be very difficult to get a proper structure of a board to represent all our service producers. So we want to encourage people to come together, meet, mingle informally, even before you go to the process of having formal associations established within. It may be difficult to do it in a month. Come together, collaborate. Let us have a strong representation from all the different interest areas, so that come the 27th of March, we can have a very, very representative and dynamic annual general meeting. We haven't had one for quite a long time. I'm sitting as the chairperson, but I know I'm not legit. No, I'm not. But we really want to do this thing right. We want to set ourselves up a good structure, dynamic structure of a young, vibrant people with great ideas to move this thing forward for the benefit of all of us here in Grenada. Because services is the way to go. This is our mainstay. This is a major part of our economy. And we have to keep this thing alive, and we have to take advantage of the opportunities of technology to really bring benefits to our individual people and to our country.
We drew for a final break on the program this morning. When we come back, we still have about 5 minutes or so left. If you listeners and viewers out there have been listening to the conversation this morning, and you probably have a question or two you may like to ask, feel free to do it in the next segment. We can take a pretty short break. When we come back, the lines will be open, so you could probably ask a question or two, and I'm assuming, of course, the panelists will be able to answer. Stay with us. We're coming right back. Don't touch it up.
Attention all track and field fans, the race is on and history is being made. On Saturday, March 1st, the Kirani James Athletic Stadium comes alive yet again for the Charlie George Classic. We honor a true stalwart of Grenadian athletics, Mr. Charles A.R. George, the longest serving president of the Grenada Athletics Association. Watch the best of the best go head to head in sprints, distance races, field events, and thrilling relays with top clubs like 473 MVP, Ace, Fusion Athletics, Velocity Track Club, St. David's Track Blazers, and more. The excitement kicks off at 10 a.m., so be there early. Witness the speed, the strength, and the passion of Grenada's finest athletes. This is more than a meet. It's a legacy in motion. The Charlie George Classic, Saturday, March 1st. Be there.
It's the anticipated moment of the season, going down on Friday at 8 p.m. The wait will soon be over. The ultimate soca champion will be revealed exclusively here on GBN. The energy is phenomenal. Gather your crew and cooler and hit the GBN channel for the ultimate soca champion final. GBN Television, feel the energy.
In observance.
Welcome back once again, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to, of course, those of you via our social media platforms. Before the break, I did mention if you do have a question or two you want to ask our panelists, feel free to do so in this segment. Let's go over to Chad. I know they say Chad have to make an early run for it. So, Chad, anything in closing before we of course, take a wrap this morning? And I understand you have to take a run out for it. So, tell us anything in closing you want to tell our listeners and viewers before we take a wrap.
Absolutely. Well, the coalition of services, well, let me start off by saying services is our mainstay. That's generating revenues and driving a huge part of our economy. And I think it's to take advantage of the opportunities presented by in tourism, in the digitization efforts that we're seeing by government, better internet, to take full advantage of these investments. We have to export. I don't think we have a choice. And I think to really increase our chances of exporting successfully, we have to come together. We have to work along with a team that's dedicated to preparing us for export and helping put structures, lobbying, and helping put things in place for us to export our services. And I would encourage everybody to come on board. Let's try and increase the quality of the services, be better prepared for export and really put an image out there that really would benefit Grenada in the long run.
All right, Chad, I want to thank you once again, and blessed morning goes out to you, and best wishes goes out to you, and of course your particular business that you're into. Best wishes goes out.
It's a pleasure being on with you. All right, take care.
Thanks a whole lot. And of course, my panelists, we're going to get some closing contributions from you folks. Let's start off, of course, with Dr. Of course, Kemoy, and I'll get some closing contributions from you. Of course, a ways of encouraging folks to be part of this particular, industry, and how does the training agency would like to work with individuals to make sure that they get to the standard that they would like to be at. Anything in closing?
Yes, thank you. So, representing the educational services industry, I want to reiterate that the educational services areas play a very crucial role in the socio-economic development of any country, because we do know that education is not just a public good. In other words, focusing on contributing to social cohesion, creating the thinkers, the innovators, the problem solvers of tomorrow. But there is also that private aspect, that private good aspect. In other words, being able to make critical decisions as an educated individual. So when we reflect on the role of the NTA in the services industry landscape, we recognize that the organizations, the different service areas from agriculture right down to policing and education and the science areas, energy, climate smart initiatives, we do recognize that it's important to get our people trained and upskilled, and the NTA is well positioned to do so, particularly because we have a training ecosystem that focuses on training and development, as well as collaborating with key stakeholders. We have current projects with our stakeholders like Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Health. We also have collaboration with private and regional organizations. So we are well positioned. We offer a range of services. As I mentioned before, we have enterprise-based, we have community-based. We also have training that are based on institutions, so institution-based training. With our training providers, we have over 17 training providers, too many to mention, but some of them the public will know, like TAMCC, NULO, SEDACT, GRACE, Training and Certification Center. And we also offer career guidance to those young persons as well as those who are not so young or young at heart in diverse areas. So we provide this kind of support, and we are looking to collaborate and work along with organizations to develop the service industry in Grenada.
All right. So, Rosemary, let's hear from you.
Yes.
Anything in closing?
Right. So we as a nation are strategically positioned to maximize our benefits from the tourism industry. I would like to see more luxury tourism offering. I would like to see us benefit more from the ecotourism industry based on our environment, and so I think we can maximize that and tap deeper into that. We also have an opportunity to allow people to be trained better, more professionally, and maximize the services of the National Training Agency and other international bodies. I also believe that we can introduce other areas besides SGU. We have already demonstrated to the world that we can provide tertiary and higher level of education. I think we can expand down the road in other areas, even like legal areas, and so the fintech ecosystem, I think we can also try to tap deeper into that, as Chad had touched lightly on. So we do have a wide variety of areas that we can benefit from as a people and be educated. We also should try to tap into regional opportunities for people, free trade, free movement, and I think there is great potential.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so Bernard, we can get some closing remarks from you this morning.
So first of all, I want to thank you and thank GBN for this opportunity, and also thank our followers and listeners. We want to just remind our young people in Grenada, those who are not yet even involved in the services, that opportunity beckons. The service industries are the future of our economy, and we have to just prepare ourselves so we can embrace the opportunities that this broad industry provides. We want us to get organized, be involved. We want to start with that event we have on Monday, God willing, at the Yacht Club. We invite all service producers and people who are interested to come. We want to remind them of the meetings we'll be having over the next couple of weeks and our AGM, which to me is key for charting the way forward for the coalition and for the growth and development of the service sector in Grenada.
All right.
So thank you very much.
All right. I want to thank you folks once again, and I certainly hope there are folks out there that may have an idea in their mind of starting a business and looking for that assistance to have it grown. And being part of an association is always bring along a lot of benefits. Sometimes you're thinking about it by yourself, and associated with others could have the merging of ideas, as they would say, could certainly make your business be much better than it could be. So I want to thank you folks once again, and the future of the coalition. Hope it continues to grow, and best wishes goes out to everyone. Thank you folks once again. Hey folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for this edition of To The Point for today. It's our final edition for the week. Join us again on Monday for another edition. That's why I say goodbye. All the best folks. Goodbye.